I'm Andrew Chambers, co-founder of Eightfold.
And I'm Rob Collins, one of Eightfold's property finance specialists. Today we're introducing our new weekly podcast that specialises on the more complex side of lending, known as specialist finance.
At Eightfold, we provide advice on lending from home loans through to commercial debt for businesses. We've found in the New Zealand market that it's easier to get advice on buying a home than it is on property or business finance.
So, we hope that with this weekly blog we'll bring a bit of colour to what we call specialist finance and to share some of what we're doing with you.
Rob, remind me, what is specialised finance?
Well, for me, specialist finance encompasses the parts of the market outside of standard home lending. Specifically in the blogs, we're covering property development finance, commercial property finance and business lending. We hope to bring you insights, news and pointers over the coming weeks, but we thought it would be good to start by saying out our thoughts on the benefits of using a broker.
And a reminder that Rob's specialised area is property, so today we might focus a bit more on this area. So Rob, why use a broker?
Well, here in New Zealand, the broker share of the market seems to be at much lower levels than you see in Australia or the UK. And generally, brokers don't seem to be recognised for the value that they bring to a transaction. Now, as an aside for our colleagues on the home lending side of the market, using the broker would seem to be a no-brainer. The client does not incur any additional cost, and the broker is paid by the lender. So why don't more residential clients use the services of a qualified broker to ensure that they get the best deal? On the specialist side of the market, things are a bit different, and generally the broker charges the client directly and is not paid by the lender. I think for some clients there's a train of thought that not using a broker can be a cost saving, but I think that's a false economy, particularly with the more complex transactions.
Great. I hear that word broker interchanged a lot with advisor. Are you a broker or an advisor?
Well, I suppose the word broker is more transactional, heavily linked to buying and selling on behalf of others. We're definitely advisors, but many still know us as the old-fashioned term finance broker.
Okay, so what do you do for your clients?
Well, a good advisor should become an integral part of any client's project and almost become a de facto finance director or project manager. Many clients believe that the advisor's role is all but finished once the best set of lending terms has been identified, but that should really just be the start. Firstly, it is crucial that the advisor fully understands the client's requirements and structures the funding to meet these needs. Pricing is clearly part of this process, but the lowest interest rate isn't necessarily reflective of the best product. A good advisor will test the market and engage with several lenders to ensure the best outcome for the client. In the specialist property finance arena, pricing can fluctuate from week to week and from lender to lender as credit appetite and lender balance sheets ebb and flow. Therefore, having relationships across the whole of the market and not relying on one lender is very important. Speed of delivery can be an important factor, and quite often urgent transactions need to go to a lender that processes very quickly or has a lower requirement for supporting paperwork. In most cases, these lenders will charge a premium, but sometimes speed trumps pricing, and you need to know who can genuinely move rapidly and who just talks a good game. Related to this is also lender attitudes to problems with the loan. Now, every client goes into a transaction very optimistically, but there can always be unforeseen problems, particularly with property development. You want clients to be working with a lender that's flexible and looking for a solution rather than pressing the default button at the very first sign of trouble.
We always hear about that mysterious credit person in the banks or finance companies that make that final decision. Let's talk about credit. How do you approach credit with your clients?
Okay, so once the best set of terms has been identified, the next step is to put together the full credit application. And the advisor will need to put on their credit hat and act as the gatekeeper for all the necessary paperwork and documentation. A well-presented credit submission that provides the lender with all the requested information in a concise and user-friendly manner normally results in quicker turnaround times. The advisor will also be able to identify weak points in the submission and act to provide clarifications on points or mitigants for any issues that could be raised by a credit assessor.
Who else do you deal with in the process?
So in most cases, the loan will also be conditioned for professional reports such as valuation or from a quantity surveyor. Liaison and relationships with these professionals can be invaluable when trying to expedite the production of their reports or deal with potentially contentious issues. Finally, once you've secured the best pricing, negotiated the full credit approval and pushed the professionals to issue their reports in a timely manner, you arrive at the legal stage. In my experience, the commercial and specialist lenders always work with separate legal representation for the lender and the borrower. Having two sets of lawyers acting provides a degree of protection for both parties, but it can lead to frustrations and delays while legal points are argued and technicalities debated. I don't have any hard stats, but it always felt like half my working week was spent trying to push and cajole lawyers to move files along to settlement.
So in a way, you sit at the centre of things.
Definitely. It's a well-worn statement I use when explaining to clients the real push to settle these transactions. And it may sound a little cynical, but the professionals, such as the lawyer, surveyor, QS, etc., will be paid their fee regardless of outcome. The bank manager will earn their monthly salary regardless of outcome. So it's only really the client and the advisor that are really tied in to the successful outcome of the transaction.
So if I'm to sum all of this up, a good advisor should ensure that the client obtains the best possible lending for their requirements. And they should make the process from approval through to settlement as efficient and as smooth as possible. It sounds like you're the trusted advisor in a way to the borrower here.
Yes, we're here to give the client peace of mind and to ensure that they sleep at night. We do this as a career, so every day we talk to lenders, and as such, we are at an advantage when it comes to day-to-day knowledge in an ever-changing environment.
Thanks, Rob. I think that sums it all up. So this is our first video. If you've got ideas or questions you might have that you want to put in the comments below, we'd be keen to hear and talk about them in the future. And we'll talk more soon.
Okay, thank you.